All set. Next match, and again, one fall, 15-minute time limit. You see in the near corner, from Outer Mongolia, half this match, he weighs in 244, and I'm speaking specifically of the barricade, or whatever that may be, the Mongol, ladies and gentlemen, Outer Mongolia, the Mongol. His opponent from Chicago, Illinois, and very fair complexioned against this fella. He weighs in tonight at 239. Christy. One fall, 15. The nonchalant tactics of this individual, Bob.
I've had a lot of letters on this Mongol. From the first card we had him on in Chicago a few weeks ago, not too long ago, and the people asking, who is he? Well, I want to say that he is the original, the Mongol. There have been imitations, like a young fella called up and said, is he the Stomper? Well, the Stomper looks like him, but it's not the Stomper. This is the Mongol. This is the one, the original that was brought from Mongolia, the champion wrestler in Mongolia. He wasn't too civilized when he came here in '61, but as we remarked on the last show, or a recent show where he appeared, he has become rather civilized. But he is just as rough and tenacious as always. But he is the Mongol. That's the Mongol, the original. I just wanted to put that in here because I have had a number of calls on this.
The first time I saw him, I think, was in late '61, in a match in Indianapolis at the Coliseum. And I understand at that time he was making what was referred to as token appearances across the nation. Evidently, the syndicate or whatever it was that brought him in was hitting him into Boston, into the Garden, Detroit's Olympia, and Chicago, back when Fred Kohler was operating, and St. Louis, and he was just making spot appearances. True. Now he has seemed, although he does travel across the nation continually and out of the country, he just recently returned from the Far East, he has settled in an area instead of just sort of being a one-nighter.
We're fortunate to have signed him to a contract to appear in matches in Indianapolis and Chicago and Elkhart and Fort Wayne and some of your major eastern cities. Through our auspices, he will appear there. But let me say that he is a top-notch talent. He is one of the great wrestlers, the Asian wrestler, one of the great Asian wrestlers, and we're happy to have him. Except, of course, he is rather rugged at times, but we're happy to have him in our entourage, stable, or whatever you might say. In other words, under contract to appear because he is top-notch in Mongolia.
You know, at the risk of being called by some people at home as a supplanted favorite of this man, I would like to say, though, that this man's ruthlessness and his brutal method in the ring does not employ an exorbitant amount of borderline tactics, Bob. He is just rough.
Yeah,
he
right.
his man
That's true.
Down within the room.
That's true. Well, I've watched him wrestle on the plane.
Look at this. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that.
I've watched him in his tribe when we were negotiating to bring him here. He would put on exhibitions in his tribe in Mongolia, in the outer Mongolian part, and these plainsmen, they are very rugged, and they would wear the bear skin and the tongs around which they would grab, and it really was a rugged match right there in the dirt.
Did his style have to be changed? And I mean, did they wrestle the same style or type of, I mean, for instance, the chops, the open hand chops, and
really, you'd be surprised. Well, the Beatles are not exactly the same type, but they are.
Was called something.
They do the body slam. They pick them up and slam them, just like we slam them. They do the same type of reveal with a little variation. But one thing that this thing that he's doing now, this headlock, this grab, moving him around and getting him in position. This is the common denominator, and the stooping over, that kind of thing. And can you imagine this in a hot, in a real like sand, dirt, sandy, and they go for hours. And this was the champion. This was the champion of that region, and let me tell you, the day I was there, he beat a 7-foot giant. You wouldn't believe this.
They got those over there, too.
Oh, 7 foot, and came right off the plains, and brother, he looked like he was going to eat about 3 of him. But this fellow is tremendous. He's got a lot of power and a lot of ability, and his father before him was a wrestler, his father's father before him.
Well, Christy making a good effort.
I'm sort of surprised at that move that, because Christy really, he really surprised me that he moved the Mongol like that.
I think the Mongol's sort of playing with it.
I really believe that. I really believe that. This Mongol is up, and what a powerhouse. I wish the people could see
I'm not taking anything away from Christy. I just think we had a match like this about a week or so ago when Mitsu Arakawa just sort of toyed a little bit.
Right, I recall it.
Felt his opponent out. You notice a Mongol style, he very seldom bends the knee in a move. Now, he is now, of course, but I mean, when he's making a move in a hip lock or something like that, he's straight up over. He takes the man straight over his back.
And that's how he beats his man. Look at this. This is just a down-to-earth type of move in wrestling, Chuck. That hammer lock, that side face lock, the combination of a hammer lock and a face lock, side face. Not really, but it's just pure brute strength. That's
He won. Hey, there's the bell. Referee has determined that
that's how those tribesmen meet each other. That's their finish.
this match, Christy can no longer defend himself or can no longer compete, and the Mongol finally does release the hold, but now without a little insult. Check the time. 6 minutes, 31 seconds, 6:31. So this one feller goes to the Mongol. And now he is entitled to a moment or two of arrogant strut around the ring.
That's a Mongolian victory cry.
I would nod it, yeah. Something like that. Well, as he leaves the ring, we will leave for a moment, but we'll be back. I beg your pardon.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Brother.
We'll be back. We'll be back, ladies and gentlemen, with more wrestling in just a moment. Don't go away.